Every preacher knows that the most hopeful moment of a sermon occurs right before he or she actually begins. Parishioners settle into their pews and look up expectantly, and they do this every Sunday, even if they've never heard a good sermon from their preacher. This tells you something about the hopefulness of faith. Of course, there's also the hopefulness that the preacher is coming to an end, and that speaks to the patience which faith also requires. Jesus' preaching in the synagogue, pictured in last Sunday's gospel, reveals this same hopefulness in Nazareth. When he sits down to preach, customary in the ancient world, the eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him. I think we gaze directly at someone when we truly want to know what he or she is thinking or feeling. Whether good news or bad news, we want to hear it. It's a hopeful moment that we'll hear the truth. It's regrettable that the editors of the Revised Common Lectionary don't give us the effect of the sermon until next Sunday. I'll just indulge in a spoiler and tell you that the congregation gets so upset by Jesus' preaching that they end the sermon for him. Maybe something you've wanted to do from time to time. Most experienced preachers realize when they've lost their congregation, not because people wander away, but their attention does, revealed in the loss of eye contact, fidgeting, subtle wristwatch checking, bulletin reading, and the like. All of this suggests that preaching is relational. I think it's difficult to preach to a congregation you don't know because there is a tendency to be generic or abstract since you don't share a common life with your listeners. The preaching relationship, like any relationship, is going to have ups and downs. That's why the hopefulness and patience are so important. Jesus' situation is more complicated because he has returned to his hometown, no longer as Joseph's son, but as a preacher and healer making a reputation for himself. Generally, bishops don't allow clergy to return to their home parishes to serve because the ambiguity of relationship roles is impossible to overcome. If the preacher is constrained, then his message will be also. I've heard the point made that Jesus is the message, and that's what this scene is all about. True enough. But that raises the question of the extent to which all preachers are called to be the message as well. Is it reasonable to expect our preachers to practice what they preach? I think we would say yes, but biographies of great preachers reveal that their frailties are a lot like everybody else's. Good preachers, like good pianists, may have a gift for it, but they also continue to work hard on their craft, pondering Holy Scripture, listening to their own lives and to other preachers, and searching to find just the right word for next Sunday. I hope you'll keep in mind that preaching is always relational and that your contribution to that relationship with hope and patience does you and the preacher a lot of good.